It's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo. Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo at the midweek with Colin Russo and Christian Catno. Mike Rizzo on a hiatus. He is over in Cleveland for the week. We got you covered here at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Russo and Rizzo streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Also on your radio dial for the next 2 hours at ESPN 106.3. Got a packed program ahead. We're going to talk to Steve Politziner in studio, I believe. Saw him a little earlier today, the Good Karma Brands president, of course. Looking forward to speaking with him. And with the trade deadline fast approaching in the MLB, you got a lot of teams that are buying, selling, rumored to be buying, rumored to be selling. We're still waiting for a lot of the big moves to be made. And this part of the year is always tricky because when you get to the trade deadline, yes, you have your occasional team that is looking to make the big move. But the Los Angeles Angels somehow are one of them who have made a couple of moves thus far, getting a couple of relievers from the Nationals. But ultimately, my major problem with how the deadline is sort of organized is the second we get here, it is all about the usual suspects. It is all about what the Yankees are going to go do. It's all about how the Dodgers need to go replenish depleted arms. Does that sound familiar? Yes, because it happens every single year that the Dodgers, who have a plethora of pitching, who have a plethora of hitting, somehow, some way, they're shorthanded at the deadline, and they need to go acquire 3 or 4 more people. And the Yankees, who, despite signing about 700 people in the offseason, needed to get new outfielders, new infielders, new pitching, new starters, depth. The Mets have made a couple of moves. The Phillies, they need more offense. They need to shift around a couple of arms here. They need some depth in the bullpen. The Houston Astros, are they going to bring back Carlos Correa? Shocker. Color me shocked that we got the Houston Astros, the New York Yankees, the San Diego Padres in the hunt, the Cubs, the Dodgers, all the usual suspects who are the main players at the deadline. My big problem with the deadline is outside of a few outliers, these same buyers are contacting the same sellers year in, year out. And there are opportunities when teams should look to sell. If you're on an expiring contract, if you're the team is out of the hunt and you're looking to get rid of a big contract before you have to pay him again, that all makes sense. If you've got 2 years of control and there's a little bit more of a leverage factor on your end, you could probably get a bigger chunk of change, bigger package in exchange for it. That makes sense. But when you're trading people that have 4 years of control by the team, Sandy Alcantara is one of them. I believe it's 3 years of control as who's playing well for the Miami Marlins. We're watching his starts and thinking, well, he's really propping up his trade value. Do they need to get rid of him? Do they? That's my problem with it. Is you get the same teams. It's less about who's out of the hunt and who's in the hunt. And it's more about who doesn't want to spend and who can spend. Who wants to just stack up on prospects and who doesn't really care about the prospects. The great teams in the MLB don't really care about their prospects. There's a handful of them here and there that they like to protect, the Yankees being one of them. But the Dodgers don't particularly care about their prospects. Do the Philadelphia Phillies, a couple guys here and there, do they care about their prospects? The Padres, who have traded for Josh Hader, they traded for Dylan Cease, Luis Arias, they traded for Juan Soto at the deadline a number of years ago. Do they care about their prospects? You get the teams that don't want to spend, who are the sellers, and you get the teams who do want to spend, who are the buyers. I know by definition that makes a lot of sense, but it's less about who's in the hunt, who's out of the hunt, and it is more about who wants to spend the money and who doesn't. How I look at it and how you can look at it is this. Outside of, again, the few outliers year in and year out, you get the 5 or 6 usual suspects that act as the major league for the other remaining 24 teams that are the minor leagues. And that's of the professional Major League Baseball, 1 through 30. 23 act almost as a secondary minor league. They're getting paid, but as secondary minor leagues for when eventually, unless you're that rare player, you're going to get upgraded to the big leagues and get paid by a big market team. That's it. That's the trade deadline. And we're going to see what happens, of course. There's going to be, the Detroit Tigers are not always in the mix there. The Chicago Cubs. There's a couple interesting players. But to me, and I'm an A's fan, so I perennially get turned off by the trade deadline because it's usually when the A's are fire sailing most of their great players. But this is how the Yankees need to rebuild their team, how the Dodgers need to rebuild their team, how the Phillies need to rebuild their team. What is Toronto doing, who loves to spend money? That's it. Christian, I have the ultimate conclusion about the trade deadline. And I think I circle back to it every single year. You have a couple minor buys, couple major minor sells, but this is all about the teams that are willing to spend, contacting the teams that don't like to spend, and deciding, hey, get me on your list, not about who's playing well, who's not playing well, not about who has team control, who doesn't have team control. Tell me about people you don't want to spend money on versus you do. And we'll take the guy you don't want to spend money on, and we'll make him great in a bad team. That is the point-blank definition of the MLB trade deadline year in and year out.
So you do not like whenever there is a baseball player, pitcher, hitter, doesn't matter, that is doing a great job, all-star, contending for end-of-season awards in a smaller market, the first thing you see under their highlights on social media is a Photoshop of them in pinstripes or them in Dodger blue. You don't like that?
I don't love that. And you're a Yankee fan, so I understand if you do like that. But I sit here and think there is I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but a minor league system is in place in the major leagues. 23-ish, 22 teams, perennial sellers, and then about 5, 6 regular usual suspects, and then 3 at-large teams who are the buyers every single year.
Well, yeah, it's like college sports right now. Kind of like you come to our Division II school, you come to our group of 5 school. If you do good enough, you will earn yourself an NIL deal for a Power 4 school.
It's a good comparison, because it almost is like that. It almost is.
Because you can make money. You can still make money at these smaller schools. They still have NIL funds to pay their players in the year 2025, but they don't have SEC money. They don't have Big Ten money. They don't have Yankee money, Dodger money, even Red Sox money.
I've seen the Milwaukee Brewers in good standing throughout seasons and years past, who always are in the hunt, whether I know they're at the top of the division right now. They're not going to do that this year, but who have been willing to part ways with contributing players. The Atlanta Braves made a living off of contacting the A's at the deadline or in the offseason every single year for about 3 years running, figuring out which power slugger the A's didn't want to pay, whether the A's are winning 90 games or 70, and determining who we want to bring over on the plane. That's a problem. That is a problem. It circles back to our point that we've been talking about all week with the salary cap and the amount that certain teams can spend, the thresholds, the disparity. But the trade deadline is almost a reflection of that. The trade deadline shows that every single year, for somehow, some way, the Dodgers, who love signing about 5 pitchers in offseason, are depleted in the arm department by the time we get to the deadline. And the Yankees, who always make a move for about 3 or 4 different hitters a year, and who have had success elsewhere, and then by the deadline hits, the Yankees are looking for a couple bats. They're looking for an infielder. They're looking for an outfielder that can hit the ball. They're looking for a reliever. Despite all the moves that they make throughout the season, the Padres, who are a very savvy team in terms of getting rid of expiring contracts, they got Dylan Cease and Luis Arias sitting there, and they're going to trade out. They're going to be a buster too, because they do this every single year. There are the usual suspects of buyers and the usual suspects of sellers. And to me, when it's trade deadline time, they're should be 70% of the league that hates it, maybe 75, and 25% of the league loves it. Because a Philly fan can sit here, we have Philly fans here at ESPN West Palm, who get excited knowing that it's the deadline season because, yes, we might ship a couple bad eggs out, but we're going to try to bring a couple guys in. If we're the Yankees, we're excited. We're going to bring a couple guys in. The Mets are going to bring a couple guys in. The Dodgers, they're going to bring a couple guys in. You know, the Giants already made their big move for Devers, but not afraid to make a move. The Astros probably going to make a move. And everybody else in the MLB, it's who's had a terrific season, who do the fans like? Get ready to say goodbye. Get ready to say goodbye. The Diamondbacks are about to deal with this. They're going to ship out 3 players tonight.
And for those that live in South Florida their whole life, you're preaching to the choir, right? Like being a Marlins fan is knowing that whoever starts their season red hot represents the Marlins in the All-Star game. Oh, God, how many years of control do we have over this guy? Ooh, that number is dwindling. Goodbye.
And it's not about, oh, we got 3 years of control left. We're excited for the remainder of 3 years. No, we're excited for the remainder of 6 months. And then we're going to try to leverage this to get a bigger prospect in return.
Like that number is just as valuable as the number in their box score.
That's it. It's how much money and how much control. Because nobody loves a rental. That's the least amount of leverage in a situation. But the Marlin fans should see this. This happens every single year. Whether the Marlins have won, they could be 60 and 30 and 30 at this point. Teams are still calling. Teams are still calling the Marlins. Hey, who don't you want to pay? The Pittsburgh Pirates today traded Brian Hayes, who is admittedly not a bad, he's a bad hitter, but he's a great, an outstanding even third baseman in terms of defensively. He's on a cheapish contract. He signed like an 8-year deal worth like $75 million, $70 million. He's a 28-year-old. He's been in the league, but he's got a lot of control for the next couple of years through 2029. He's making I just checked. He's making $8 million a year. And they just traded him to the Cincinnati Reds. Why? The Pittsburgh Pirates, why? Makes sense of that for me. This guy's under contract until 2029. So his age 32 season. The guy's 28. He's 28, and then there's a club option at the end. And they got rid of him for guess what? 2 prospects. Marlins fans get used to that because that's coming up soon. That's coming up soon. You're going to see that tonight. We'll try it. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Alberto in Florida. You're on Russo and Rizzo. Alberto, what's up?
What's up, man?
How we doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. I'm just saying about the trade deadline. I think this trade deadline could be a big one. We have a lot of good players so far getting traded to teams like the Yankees, the Reds.
Well, who's your team, Alberto?
The Marlins.
So you're a Marlins, but the Marlins are going to trade out. They're going to get rid of Alcantara. You okay with that?
Yeah, I know that. I'm okay with that. He wasn't doing good this year, and he just recovering from Tommy John. He's basically like the last Marlins who was standing ever since from the playoff run back in 2023.
Well, here's the thing. He's starting to play better. He's finally starting to play well, and he's post Tommy John, and they're going to get rid of him. You like that?
Not really, but I think we're doing better with our young guys that we got when we traded the players last year.
Okay. Appreciate the call, Alberto. Thank you for chiming in. Alberto wants Alcantara gone. It's funny. Alberto, you're a Marlin fan. What are you talking about the Yankees going to get players? Why does that help you? You're a Marlin fan.
He's a baseball fan.
Oh, he's a baseball fan. Let's all root for all the players to get to the Yankees.
Yeah, if you're a baseball fan, you're right. This would stick in your craw because you like to see the different faces succeed. Not just the faces, but the different uniforms succeed every once in a while. Give you a different reason. It kind of gets nauseating to see the same logo on your screen when Fox has the World Series.
Duran Duran, the relief pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, they're probably going to get rid of him. So Carlos Correa is being floated to the Houston Astros. He's got no trade clause, but he might be traded. These are all the Guardians. They're shipping out all their players. I know that's a newish team. That's all because of the Class A gambling probe. But the Minnesota Twins are trying to get rid of every single player they have. The Arizona Diamondbacks trying to get rid of every single player they have. Call it an effort to reload. But there are a lot of teams who do this every single year. Miami Marlins, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Oakland A's are staying mostly quiet this year, but you never know. The Baltimore Orioles, who outside of the last 2 or 3 years, always looking to be a little weird at the deadline. You never know if they're going to buy or sell. This happens every single. The Tampa Bay Rays, trading guys, deadline, happens every single year. They could be 20 games over 500 or 15 games below 500. They're still getting calls about whether they're selling just because of the money. Just because of the money. Let me circle back to this. Brian Hayes, who is a bad offensive player, bad, B-A-D, fine. He's a young-ish player who signed a cheap contract, $8 million a year. In retrospect, that's a cheap contract in MLB terms. He's the best third baseman defensively in the league. I guess you could sit there as a Pirate fan and think, well, how does he help us being so good defensively, but we need offense? And we're sitting there 15 games under 500. He's not going to help us. You have him under control for 5 more years. What is the team going to look like in 2 years? He's still there. He's still cheap. What if he turns it around? I don't understand a move like that. And it's just a reflection of the bigger problem. Doesn't matter if you're a buyer or a seller this year, because you always have the same usual suspects who buy and the same usual suspects who sell. They will always call the A's. They will always call the Marlins. They will always call these teams because 22 out of the 30 teams in baseball, 23 are usually annually the minor league system, the farm system for the top 7, top 8 in baseball. The top 7 is like getting called up to the bigs from the Marlins. Well, I could finally get a good contract. I got traded. I could finally, see if I could get an extension. I could finally play in a playoff game. That's what you see. I haven't played in a playoff game before. I've been playing for the Angels. I've been playing for the Marlins. Pirates. I get to get traded. Oh my gosh. And we're wondering, we haven't seen this guy in a playoff game before. Voila.
So I don't believe that a majority of these owners are only owning these teams to turn a profit. I think that a good portion of them are trying to win because they are sports fans. There are other investments out there that they could have been doing if they're just trying to make money.
Right.
But are they all trying to recreate like the Astros formula before they had to pay their big stars, where you just nail it a couple of drafts in a row and you end up with Altuve, Correa, Bregman, and Springer?
It's just the front office masterclass, and keep in mind the Astros had about 3 managers in that dugout as well. So it was but what you're saying is everybody's trying to replicate just
if they're trying to win
on 100 prospects in a row.
They know they can't just dive in the offseason and pay guys to come to their team, so they have to develop them before they have to pay them when they eventually leave for more money.
Because what's funny is you mentioned the Astros, but I could give you one on the flip side of that, the Orioles. The Orioles were the same deal. They had 100 prospects that came up sort of around the same time. They were all great position players. And you had a great catcher. You had shortstops. You had outfielders. You had a little bit of everything. And it hasn't amounted to anything because of their unwillingness to put big-time money. And they bought Corbin Burns for that 1-year deal. And I guess call it worked out because he's hurt. But they never spent to get them over the top. The Astros were not afraid to. They let Cole walk. That was what you knew. Cole was getting out of there. That was one thing. But the Astros were not afraid to pay people. That's why it worked. The Orioles thought that they could rely on just the talent of their prospects, and that would sort of carry them to the promised lands. The Oakland A's have made a living off of this. The Tampa Bay Rays, I know they got close in 2020, have made a living off of this. They don't necessarily think that they need to pay the big bucks on top of hitting in every draft. It's a mixture of everything. It really is. But you're right. I agree with you to the sense that owners are trying to win, but I think owners are arrogant in the sense that if I don't see something today, now, and I look to my left or my right and I see this owner doing this and that, there's a lot of ego judging left and right. And because of that, They don't necessarily want to be in the same position. They either want to be, all right, we're resetting or we're capitalizing. But most teams, because they don't want to spend the money, are in a constant flux of resetting. The Marlins are one of them. You wonder why Lone Depot Park can't get filled? Because there's nobody there that the fans remember. There's no big-time player that obviously winning cures all, but there's not a lot of players that put butts in seats. And that's what drives great attendance in baseball is great players. Great players can lead to great teams. Great teams obviously can lead to attendance. That's why nobody shows up. That's why nobody showed up. What do you think nobody showed up to Oakland before they left? Yes, the owner couldn't make a deal, but that stadium was selling 7,000 a night. It's because they do not want to spend money. You got 24 teams that are a minor league system for the top 6 or 7. That is Major League Baseball. Can you imagine that in the NFL? If every year the trade deadline consisted of the Chiefs, Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, the Packers, and the Cowboys buying from all over the league, and everybody else basically trying to reset with the rookies year in and year out.
Yeah. Welcome to Kansas City, Brian Robinson.
Welcome. Well, Terry McLaurin about 5 years ago, welcome to the Buffalo Bills. Jacksonville Trayvon Walker finally turning a corner. Welcome.
Myles Garrett, goodbye Cleveland. Hello, anyone that would take him, because everyone would want Myles Garrett.
Oh, Myles Garrett's got 2 years left on his contract? All right, well, let's capitalize on that and see if we can get a 2 third-rounders and a second-rounder from Buffalo. And it's all just blindfolded darts at a dartboard. You imagine that in the NFL? Oof. People would be livid. But it's become the norm in baseball that people are almost numb to it. I don't like the trade deadline because I think it reflects a big problem in the MLB that we've talked about all week, but that is reflected in the trade deadline. You have your buyers. Of course, you have the Detroit Tigers of the world who are looking to make some moves and looking to capitalize. You know, the Cubs haven't always been there. They've been in the set of reset period. That's always fun. Those are the teams to follow. That I enjoy. But the fact that we see the Phillies, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Yankees, Mets as of recent, the Astros, always as the same usual suspects that buy. As a small market defender myself, dare I say I don't like it. Dare I say I dislike this time of year with that. There's a couple players to watch and see where they go, but when inevitably we have Johan Duran, who's the best relief pitcher on the market, going to the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight, and then you got Alcantara going to Detroit or wherever the hell he's going to go, and then you got Suarez, who's probably going to go to Detroit as well, which is, all right, fine. You get another power hitter in there. Interesting. And then you got the San Diego Padres capitalizing on a couple of the big-time relievers on the market. And then we're going to sit here and think, what a fun deadline. The Dodgers made a trade? What a fun dedeadline. 888-760-3776. If you're a Marlins fan, is this your least favorite time of the year? Really? You might make the playoffs. You can win your 86 games, but come trade deadline every year, it is open season for everybody else. You are the pig in the butcher shop, and everybody else is the shopper. That's what the Marlins are. 888-760-3776. That's Christian Cat, Colin Russo. Taking a time out here, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Evan Cohen here, reminding you that ESPN 106.3 is the official home for Inter Miami Soccer. Tonight, the Leagues Cup tournament kicks off. It's MLS versus Liga MX. Inter Miami and Atlas FC get it all started. We go live to Fort Lauderdale at 7 here on ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SCHEV.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
An important part of my day is starting it out with a victory, getting a sweat going, trying to feel good about the rest of it because you got to do something physical in the morning. I'm a big believer in that. I'm the big believer even in the afternoon, too. If you want to double up, go in the afternoon instead of the morning. If you're not a morning person, you go to F45 downtown West Palm Beach, locations in Wellington as well. F45, it's more the functional side of working out. You get up, you get down, you get in, you get out. It's 45 minutes, class style, fitness oriented with a bunch of like-minded fitness people that are just in the building with you, listen, loud music, having some fun, big smiles on your faces, and also working quite hard. Follow along on the workouts on the screen. You can kind of just turn your brain off and get it done. That's F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Find a studio near you today. Online at F45, or go check out their Instagram, F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo and Christian Cat with you. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, streaming live YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. It's the trade deadline coming up in just about a day for the Major League Baseball. And today is basically the last time that we'll see these players, today and yesterday, where if they all have a start, if a player plays well, all of a sudden they get pulled and all the reporters go, that's the last time we'll see him in this uniform as they work to figure it out for a trade to a new spot. It's the worst trade deadline in sports by a long margin because it is always the same usual offenders poaching off the smaller market, cheaper broker teams.
See, that's where I disagree with you. You think because it's the usual suspects buying, I prefer more movement than less movement in my trade deadlines, and we get not much movement at all in the NFL.
You don't get a lot of movement in the NFL because it's also hard to shift a player from point A to point B, and in the 8-9 weeks before the postseason really hits to get them acclimated. There's a point to be made there. It's a harder sport to get acclimated to team by team. But I don't like the idea of it's poaching. Poaching. Oh, it's poaching season. The poachers are coming out. You know, here comes the Dodgers. Here comes the Mets. Here comes the Mets who just made a trade in that commercial break for Tyler Rogers from the San Francisco Giants, in the last 5 seconds, the Mets, that is. So in the last 5 seconds. I don't like the idea of it being the same poachers. I think it's the worst trade. I think it's such an overrated trade deadline. People pay so much attention to it. I like seeing who's going where, and there's a lot of situations in which trade deadline acquisitions really elevate a team. But the problem is it's the same team every year. That I don't like. And you're a Yankee fan.
Yeah, I mean, these GMs are not helpless. Like, they can say no and keep their guys until the contracts expire, until they pony up the cash. So, like, it's not against their will. Maybe it's against the will of their fans. But, I mean, they're not helpless in the situation.
They're not. Sometimes they can be because they know they can't pay them. They know they won't have the money to pay them. And it's almost like, well, as a general manager, is it in the right business practice to let these players play out their contracts? Or do I sort of just re-roll my dice and buy myself more time with prospects? Because when there's prospects in the mix, I don't necessarily, this is not win now mode. This is preservation of job mode. And that makes sense. Like, think about it for a second. If I got two elite, top of the line players, position and a pitcher, and they got 2 to 3 years left of control in their deals, and this team is 15 games under 500, you don't know if this team is really ready to take the next step next year. You're sort of in limbo. Part of you and part of the perception from fans and ownership is thinking, well, you got a lot of these great players here, but we're not winning games. Why is that? Okay, well, if you're a general manager trying to preserve your job, you think, I could just get rid of these guys, try to look smart in a bad situation, trying to look savvy in a house fire, and I could buy myself more time by accumulating prospects in exchange for my current very good player. That's what it is. It's a lot about job preservation and also about prolonging the future of the team. And these teams roll the dice again. Can we get 5 prospects up at the right time that are cheap that we could utilize to possibly make a postseason run? And if that doesn't work, we'll trade them again. We'll roll the dice once more. Helpless is not the right word. You're right. They don't come in and steal their lunch money, but
they bully them into stealing their lunch money.
Yeah,
they don't hold them by the ankles.
They ask, hey, let me hold that $5. Let me hold your $5.
While they're like pounding their fist, like, if you don't, we're gonna snipe them for nothing in the offseason.
If you don't give me your $5 now, I'm gonna come back and take $10 tomorrow. Take my $5 now. All right. And I'll give me the 3/4, and I'll use that 3/4 to turn it into $5. And once it comes $5, I give the $5 back to the bully. It's trade.
You don't like the predatory aspect of it?
No, I don't. And you're right. The NFL trade deadline is generally quiet. Generally quiet. A lot of teams just have their guys, and it's too hard to make midseason changes at non-premier positions. But basketball gets very interesting. NBA's trade deadline was outstanding. So is the NHL's. Great trade deadlines because there's enough time in the season to let it play. Baseball, there's plenty of time for teams to make postseason second half runs. Think of the Tigers of last year. Think of the Mets of last year. It's happened before. Washington Nationals stuck to their guns in 2019 after being under 500, basically 3 weeks ago from now. And they went on to win a World Series. It happens.
Now, there was a big deal made this regular season that was not between a small market team and a big market team. Like, the Devers trade was a bombshell. It wasn't a deadline week or day deal.
And everybody questioned why Boston did it. It was weird. Everybody questioned why is Boston doing this? I remember we had Steve Phillips on basically the week after where he thought it was a great move in terms of offloading money. Offloading money. The team is 8 games old, and I call it worked out because the team's playing pretty well right now. But I think that was more of a relationship between ownership, team, fan base than it was about the actual X's and O's of keeping a player under contract.
Now, a new phenomenon in baseball as of the past 2 years is the concept of deferred money to the scale of a Shohei Ohtani-sized contract. Isn't it at all surprising that it was someone that has a massive wallet that figured out that loophole in order to afford a player like Shohei Ohtani and not a team that is penny pinching?
It's the rich get richer.
Because, like, wouldn't that feel like a scheme that, I don't know, a very small market team that does not have that much money saying, you know what, we don't have it now, but maybe we have it in the future. And you being on our team might make our team more valuable to where we will make money hand over fist and eventually be able to pay you, especially when inflation does what it does, and $10 million is different in 2035 than it is in 2025.
I'm going to make a weird comparison here, but I think it works. Think about the Packers drafting a quarterback 3 years ahead of time when they don't have to. You wonder, why did you do that? Why it was an immediate need? You didn't need to do that right now. Well, they didn't. They drafted Jordan Love 3 years ahead of the time when they needed to, and they sat him and sort of let that cook on the bench. People are wondering, well, why don't more teams do this? Why don't the Jacksonville Jaguars? Why don't the Tennessee Titans? Why don't the New York Jets? Why don't they draft quarterbacks 2 or 3 years ahead of time when they do need quarterbacks, so they don't necessarily need to worry about it? But you sort of boils down to the point that great organizations, stable organizations, they have the allotment to think farther ahead. The Packers can think in 3 to 4 year blocks, whereas the Titans are thinking, what do the next 3 weeks look like instead of the next 3 years? I think a similar aspect of that applies to baseball, where Andrew Friedman is the general manager of the Dodgers, and the ownership group in the front office, they're as stable as it comes. Brian Cashman hasn't moved anywhere in 25 years. And because of that, they could think in 2 to 3, 4 year blocks comparatively. They could think future. They could think saving money on a deferred contract because they know they're going to be there. Because they know that they have the money not only to make it work, but they also know that this stability provides us the allowance to think in the future. I think it's similar in that situation. It's different in terms of you're not allocating money, but they could operate deferred money comparatively, similar to how the Green Bay Packers can stash a starting caliber quarterback on the bench for 2 years. Stable organizations allow you to operate at the long-term scale. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program. Mike in West Palm, welcome into Russo and Rizzo. Mike, what do you got for us today? What's up?
Hey, I got 2 things. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine.
Hey, I was wondering if you heard about the player that got traded at the end of the first game of a doubleheader yesterday.
Which team was this?
Right in between. It was the A's. And I just vaguely heard it on the radio, but I've never heard anything like that before.
Well, what teams try to do, and it's weird because you're talking about Seranthony Dominguez, correct?
I believe so, sir. But like I said, I work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And I just kind of great.
Yeah. So to answer your first point, you're right, because it was Dominguez they were in a triple header with the Orioles and the Blue Jays, and he got traded. Basically said, go to the other dugout. That's what happened there. So that's number one. It wasn't the A's, but it was Seranthony Dominguez who got traded in the first of the doubleheader. Correct. All right. What's your second point?
Oh, I just want to say, because you were talking about former Marlins that went on to better teams. Yelich is having one heck of a season. He's up over 20 home runs, and just kind of want to show some love for the old Marlin, you know?
There it is. Mike in West Palm, appreciate the call. Christian Yelich, he's doing great, having a great season. I mean, granted, he's been with the Brewers for 10 years, but you almost have an affinity to these players if and when they move on because of what could have been. I view Matt. That's my Matt Olson. My Matt Olson, who is now batting not for a bad team, but has had a lot of success for the Atlanta Braves. He has been my Christian Yelich to Marlins fans.
And you root for him?
I do. I like Matt Olson. I've always been a fan of him. Always been a fan of Matt Olson. Always been a fan of Sean Murphy, Marcus Semien. I think of these 2018 A's teams, which, think about it, had Marcus Semien, who didn't hang around, they didn't want to pay. Matt Chapman, they didn't want to hang around, didn't want to pay. Sean Murphy, didn't want to pay. Jonah Heim, didn't want to pay. Matt Olson, didn't want to pay. Sean Manaea, didn't want to pay. Frankie Montas, steroids, didn't want to pay.
I don't know how you keep fans if you're an organization.
I remember that whole team. That team won 97 games. They traded all of them, every single one. Maybe I'm just complaining because I'm an A's fan, but I think Marlins fans should empathize with that a little bit.
Imagine a shoe company who got rave reviews, and they were selling this shoe because it had the best technology and made it run faster. It made your calves feel comfortable. It never felt uncomfortable. And every year, they take that off the line and say, nope, no more of that. But we have this. It might be good. And do you think that people are going to still buy their shoes because they'll take their word for it because they like the color?
No. I remember all those players. Similar to the Christian Yelich for the Miami Marlins. You still root for him because you realize, hey, it wasn't really Christian Yelich's fault. He needed to get paid. Wanted to go to a team that wanted him. And it's going to Milwaukee of all places. Keep that in mind. But I dealt with that 100 times over with the Oakland A's. You had a bunch of players contributing on other rosters. Blake Treinen was on that team, who was a great player for the Dodgers bullpen this past year. Robbie Grossman was on the Tigers. Happens all the time. And the small market teams can empathize with that. Only the small market cheap teams can empathize with that. That's Christian Cat, Colin Russo. We're going to loop in a good friend of program in person, I believe. Steve Politziner, the Good Karma Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. We'll get his thoughts on the trade deadline. I want to get his thoughts on the Bryce Harper, Rob Manfred situation, on the MLB's potential prospect of a salary cap. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Christian's stand-up routine from a couple days ago. Lots to do, lots to talk about, a lot of fun to be had. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Tina, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hey, Colin, what's up?
How's the gym?
It's been great. I'm seeing results. My sports-certified Vitacost products have made a world of difference.
Oh, same. Isn't it great? Vitacost is basically the reason I've been able to keep up with Ironman training. Everything you need is in one place for my BCAAs, protein, and electrolytes. Best part, it's all clean and free of banned substances.
Go re-up on your supplements today. Visit Vitacost.com and use code ESPN20 for 20% off. Level up your game with Vitacost.
We want to see you in a Greenway Kia. Celebrate big during the Freedom Sale at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Get incentives up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. Drive a 2024 Kia Telluride for just $38,998, or lease a 2025 Kia K4, only $199 a month for 24 months, $34.99 due at signing, 0 security deposit. Plus, make no payments till fall. We'll take any trade, push it, pull it, drag it, and get up to $6,000 over KBD value towards any red tag Kia. Only at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approved credit through KFA. Stock number SG005991. MSRP $45,235. 10,000 miles a year. Plus tax tag $999 admin fee. Payments deferred 90 days. Interest accrues. Includes all factory rebates. Offers don't combine. Expires 8/15/25.
The St. Lucie Mets are in the home stretch, and you don't want to miss it. August brings 15 home games to Clover Park, packed with fireworks and fan favorites like $2 beer, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn on select nights. It's affordable, family-friendly fun on the Treasure Coast. And in September, playoff baseball comes to Port St. Lucie. Catch the future stars of the big leagues now. Every game is a new memory waiting to happen. Get tickets and more info at stluciemets.com.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. World leaders just wrapped up the AI Action Summit in Paris discussing how artificial intelligence will change our lives. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to get my smart toilet to stop posting on Instagram. For real intelligence, stay tuned to ESPN 106.3.
The pink smoke is taking over South Florida. Listen to Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba in Inter Miami in their pursuit of an MLS Cup all season long right here on ESPN 106.3.
Messi, left foot, in on Dusan, tips it up and over, it's a goal! Lionel Messi is on the board!
Listen to it all on the Deportes Radio FC app, brought to you by PNC Bank, Audi, and Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Frauenrath.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. New players bet $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
You heard it, the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, because if you've been in a car accident, truck accident, fell off your bike, slip and fall, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, the type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back. They can get yours too, no matter what. They don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call. Take back control of that life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. You just got to call 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. A rare appearance in studio. Good friend of program, No Mike Rizzo. Today you got Colin Russo and Christian Cat with you at the City Play Studios, and welcoming in, first time in a while we've had him in studio. It is Mr. Steve Politziner, who's the Good Karma Brands president and the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. Steve, hello. Welcome in. How you doing?
Well, it's the first time in a while you've been at work. So I'm here. I was in studio last week or the week before.
Hold on, Steve. That was the second time you've been in studio in 2025, and all of us, you just happened not to be here.
Yeah,
And
good to see you. God, what are we doing with the ESPN West Palm vacation schedule?
Hold on. You, first of all, as president of Good Karma Brands, you could change that policy just tomorrow if you really wanted to. But I saved up all my days. That's always been my philosophy. I don't know how you always do it, but I like saving up my days, and I kind of splurge all at once. Some people like to do weekends here and there, that and the other. I like to do all at once.
No, I don't like to do. I feel too disconnected. I actually did take a little vacation, and it was a little longer than I typically would, and I feel you
need to be attached to what's going on.
No, because you're always kind of keeping an eye on things, and you're working while you're gone, and yeah, there was just a lot.
So you don't shut it off. You don't shut it off when you're on vacation. You don't leave the phone in the hotel. You don't do any of that.
Leave the phone in the hotel?
You don't do that?
No,
really?
I don't leave the phone in the hotel.
You're not even for 2 days, 3 days of disconnect? Because that's what I did in Peru. I had no choice. But that was the best part, I think, was the complete disconnect. That's why you do it.
Well, I'm glad that worked for you. I think it actually also was why you almost didn't end up getting hired, if I remember the story correctly.
Similar story. I was in Portugal, believe it or not. I was in Lisbon where you were.
Yep.
And I was waiting on a beach, and I checked my email, and my current content director, Brian Rowitz, this is when I was traveling, right when I got out of college, because I had a couple interviews, and I hadn't heard from ESPN West Palm, I would say probably 4 or 5 weeks. And, it's one of those things where they're compiling all the information. Nobody tells me anything. It's just quiet. Boom, here's offer. And I was in Portugal, and I checked my email, and thank God I did, because Brian Rowitz emailed me and said, hey, did you take a look at the offer letter? And I was thinking, what offer letter are we talking about? And GKB does a bad job about it, because they just sent an email. I didn't get a call. Steve Politziner didn't text me. Hey, did you take a look? Nobody texted me. Jesse Nelson, my former content director at Madison. Yeah. No words. Nobody told me anything. And thank God I checked, and then I was able to sign this great offer.
That was from Brian Rowitz, right?
It was from it's like the Adobe thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't from Brian. Brian sent a follow-up, hey, have you taken a look at it? And he sent that on a Tuesday afternoon, and they sent it out on a Friday. And it was just, I thought it was, hey, I'm phishing email trained.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a phishing email. I'm going to be complete. My offer letter, I thought it was that. So I'm glad I checked up on it. I was, because then thank God
Too bad it wasn't.
I had till the end of that day, Tuesday, to sign the offer. So can you imagine that if it was a misunderstanding and everybody thought I ghosted the company?
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been excellent.
That would have been
quite the conversation.
You have to walk that back, and that would have been great.
Because I had 3 more weeks of traveling to Europe.
You're just off, and that's fine. I think a lot of on-air people tend to take some time in the summer, largely because the football season is requires so much focus, and attention. But aren't you also in charge of the internship program?
Yeah.
Did you have a backup? Was it all planned out?
I sure did. Backup quarterbacks. We had a depth chart. We know what's going on.
Okay.
And I set the schedule ahead of time. And I said, here's what we're going to do throughout the week. And I got back on a Sunday, so I was able to kind of update the following week when I got back on Sunday.
Right back in
So
it.
see, this is me, I
growing
thinking
up,
ahead.
growing up right before our eyes.
Well, Steve, we welcome into the program. Welcome in live. Christian Cat, see, this is something you were traveling as well. You always travel, going all over the country for work. Christian Cat and Theo Dorsey did stand-up comedy as a punishment.
I know. I wish
for
I
a
could have
bet,
been
and
there.
you couldn't come. It was a lot of fun.
I heard.
And I think you would have enjoyed it because it was one of those, it's an improv set. So there's no stage, just an open floor with a bunch of chairs around it. And you had Christian who set up a whole set list, 18 minutes, he said he planned it out to be. And then Theo Dorsey, who kind of came out a little bit more nuanced and freelance. And I thought they both did a good job.
That is hard. And I give them both a lot of credit to do that.
Christian was walking the line.
Yeah. There's talk
Edgy.
it might not have been
safe for work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't safe for work, but it's not supposed to be, I think.
I agree. I think like that wasn't what you were there for.
No, and the thing is, I went on after the opening improv group, and what I've come to learn is that improv comedy is like PBS. Like, it is rated E for everyone. It is rated G, not even PG, rated G. So it was a sharp left turn from their set to mine. So it even sounded a little bit more jarring in the moment.
Everybody's seated in the theater expecting Cars or, Toy Story to come on the screen. And all of a sudden, 21 Jump Street pops on and we're like, wow, okay. Like The Hangover pops on.
Nice.
Oh, wow. This is wonderful. This is a change of pace. That's exactly what happened for everybody that was in the stands. But I think everybody was pleasantly surprised. You held yourself together.
If I were to do it all again, I would not have hyped up my set as much as I did.
Oh.
I kind of let people know that I had this. Like, I was pretty confident in what I written because I've been waiting 6 months to do this.
Yeah.
I would have probably tried to take people by surprise a little bit more. Maybe lay it on that I was unprepared and scared. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. And then I'm on in 2 hours. But I did kind of hype up the set a little bit.
Yeah, you say like you built you raised the bar for everybody else by what you said.
Yeah, and
so you should have done the under promise, over deliver.
Exactly.
Wow. GKB, see, thinking about this. Christian over promised and under delivered.
Sound like he over promised and delivered.
I properly delivered.
Yeah.
All right. You hit the. We were expecting an exceptional, and we got that was good. That was good. I think Christian did a good job, so I give him credit. I give him credit for getting out there. Steve, Bryce Harper getting in Rob Manfred's face earlier this week at a Phillies clubhouse, saying, "Get the F out of our clubhouse," because he's talking about the salary cap. Are you pro? I want to say Rob Manfred owner's side, because this is owners versus players through and through. Or do you think you give Bryce Harper credit for getting in his face a little childishly? I might add.
I don't. This isn't a look. Baseball. I love baseball. You know that, and you love baseball. And I think the way baseball paints itself right now as having this like renaissance and resurgence is a little bit of fool's gold.
Really?
Like what's going on, right now. Because I just still think there's underlying issues, in the game that need to be addressed largely from like a competitive interest standpoint, because there are a lot of things. It is actually almost like back to this like unbelievable experience in person, because the game is shorter.
Yep.
Because you see heroics, like you see relievers are coming out throwing 100 miles an hour. Like there's some more,
a lot of offense going on right now. It's great.
I'd say there's select offense going on right now. There is no consistent. There's no hitting, and there's no going from first to third.
But it's a home run time right now.
There's no steals. But yes, it is a home run time. You're seeing prolific performances from the big dumper, from Judge, from Ohtani, like prolific performances, which is great. I don't think there's enough consistency at all in baseball now, because the league average is still in the 230s or 240s.
Just offensively, you're talking.
Yeah. So I don't love, I don't love that part of the game. So anyway, overall, something is going to have to like give eventually on however they do it, a salary cap or a second apron, something will likely have to be adopted at some point. I mean, the players will need to come around probably to something. The playing it out in the public forum, like I just don't see the necessity of that.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't see
you're trying to demean the commissioner in front of your team. What is this, for like a camaraderie stake? Like,
Exactly. I didn't get that part of it. I'm sure players are saying, "Great job, Bryce." And Bryce Harper is one of the guys that can do that and can get away with doing that. He's both of the caliber, he has the respect of the players, and he's obviously been a tremendous, on-field performer. I just don't know what that kind of solves in the instance. It definitely gets out how you feel. I just don't know what that solves in the instance.
Are you under the impression that should be a punishable offense?
If it's punishable, I would have it punishable by their team. By their own team.
Right.
Now, I know this was like a players association, thing, but just the own team. It's just like an outburst that to me is, just inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That's how but for baseball to go and do that, no, that's, hey, I can do this.
Yeah.
That would be heavy-handed.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want to see, that kind of behavior by Manfred.
Steve Politzino, the Good Karma Brands president, with Colin Russo and Christian Cat on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Steve, you mentioned the salary cap. You mentioned that baseball still has some underlying issues, that there's a little bit of fool's gold with the resurgence of the in-person experience. Yankees, Dodgers, big World Series numbers. You got two big stars in two major markets. There's a bit of fool's gold attached to it. You think the major problem is the parity with the pay and no salary cap, sort of think NIL, but on Major League Baseball? You think that's the major underlying issue?
I think that's an underlying issue. I still think that you have to do things that are going to incite more offense. I mean, and soccer has had obviously an enormous growth in the U.S., but I still think what holds it back is the fact that you don't have tons of offense that happen. And I think if you had more, you'd have more fans. You might also lose some fans, who might have come up in a different traditional way. I just think until we get to see some more offense, and we know here's what's happening in baseball. You're not going to have pitchers pitch complete games. You're not going to have guys see people third and fourth times, through. Mm-hmm. You have relievers that are tried and tested, when they come up. You have guys that are ready when they finish college to basically spend less than a year in the minors and be up, and ready to go. I love all of that. Like we have a great product. I'd like to see a couple things. Here's my latest thing. Since we are record level hit by pitches, because it doesn't matter anymore. Pitches are like, fine. You want to challenge me? You want to stand anywhere near the plate? You're done. You're going down. Most hit by pitches ever this year. I want to see those guys on second base.
Wow. Okay. So you think hit by pitch should be
It does nothing for baseball. It's so worthless to see a guy get hit by a pitch. He can get injured. Nobody fights. That no one, if there were fights, maybe.
The one thing I would add,
I want those guys on second base
because
I need them to be able to hit.
Now, base running has been, it's a lot easier to base run. It's a lot easier to steal bases. That has been something that the amount you could throw
easier,
first.
But not what they expected it to be. There's no speedsters because they're not allowed to. Their speedsters aren't in baseball.
Right.
Like they're not being brought up.
The Henderson, the Ricky Henderson.
Well, he was like a slap hitter, Vince Coleman. Yeah. Like there's just no slap hitters anymore that are coming up and saying it's okay because he's going to get to second the second he gets on base.
Right.
So I look for things that would instill offense. And we're going deep here, but that's, you're that kind of guy to do it with. My new thing is I just thought about this the other day when I was reading the stats about the hit by pitch. And I'm thinking about who wants to see a hit by pitch? It's a missed at bat. It's a missed opportunity. You don't get to see a great offensive play. You don't get to see a great defensive play and the risk of injury. Put him on second base and then throw the ball over the plate.
All right. So you have your major problem here is to incite a little bit of offense, number one, but number two, to combat hit by pitches, keep offensive players playing. You want to put these guys in second. I actually don't think that's a terrible idea. It's a little gimmicky. It's a little Ghost Runner-esque, but I think actually it does a halfway decent job.
It's like a penalty.
It would be combating the issue.
It's a penalty. It's like pass interference.
It's like a ball.
It's a more severe penalty. There's different levels of penalties in the NFL. There's a 5-yard penalty and there's a 15-yard penalty. What's the 15-yard penalty in baseball? They haven't adjusted to that.
Okay. Interesting. And so that's more of a major problem to you because I'm more team pay disparity. I'm more team getting more teams in the mix. I'm more team. I don't think Bryce Harper getting up in front of the Rob Manfred of all people and saying, hey, you can't talk about the salary cap when Bryce Harper is one of 20 players who have made generational wealth in the MLB and everybody else, 60% of the league makes under $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the billionaires speaking for the common folk. I don't think that's a fair example. So I have more of a problem with that and the relationship between, from a logistical level, but also from a relationship level from the owners and the players.
Yeah, the owners and players in baseball has always been as bad as it gets anywhere.
We're going to see a lockout, number one. And number two, I just think the players thinking, well, if we set a cap, the team is just going to capitalize on the team value going up, and it's just going to make their owners richer. But that's why you establish a floor. The players are going to argue for a floor. The owners are going to argue for a cap. Hey, I have a brilliant idea. Let's compromise. Let's establish both. You can't spend more than $350 million, and you got to spend more than $200 million and call it like that.
Yeah, and I think it's arrogant to think that a work stoppage is just everyone's going to be coming back because people are having fun times going to the ballpark.
Right.
Because they're not watching and to the same level. And all of the watching, all of it is held up. All of it is held up by sports gambling. I always think if there wasn't sports gambling right now, where would ratings be? Not just baseball, all sports.
Do you think the players being involved in Emmanuel Clase, the reliever, the closer for the Guardians, a lot of gambling probes, especially amongst major league players, NBA players have seen this too the last 2 years? Do you think that's because of the league's affinity to these gambling leagues?
No, I mean, the access to it is, the
Yeah.
access to it. But that's those players being dummies. Like, why would you do they're dummies. I mean, you're making this kind of money. And for whatever the reason is, peer pressure.
These guys aren't
money,
broke. This is not the 1919
and that's
White
not
Sox.
a reason to take sports gambling
Yeah.
out. That's a reason to educate people on what they're giving.
Yeah.
Class A, I mean, all-star. I don't know where his salary was, but it's probably a guy that would make $100 million in his career.
And he's
giving
coming
it all
off a
out.
great year. It's not Shoeless Joe Jackson and the Black Sox team who don't want to work at the hardware store in the offseason.
Exactly.
And instead they want to make a little extra money off the black books.
I totally
selling
agree.
the league.
Steve, when you say they're being dummies, are you saying they don't know the risks they're taking or they're dumb enough to take the risk?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if they don't know the risk they're taking, that's just like when the players say, like, oh, I didn't know the ingredients, in that.
That's
like,
my wife's HGH.
Yeah, that's dumb. And then taking the risk on it is like a different level dumb. There's like ignorant dumb, and then there's arrogant dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would say is how I would discern. That's the line between the two.
So I feel like these pro athletes are getting the gambling talk maybe once a season. How you just got to avoid it like the plague, like it's a radioactive. But it almost feels like there needs to be a back in your face every so often, and it's not just the guys that are going to lose their careers over this.
It's like I'm here, twice a year in the big meeting that the boss here has, Steph, and like Colin's in the back, and she's going through all the different things. And he really paying attention for 45 minutes. He's waiting for them to say something. He's waiting for his name to be said, and he's half listening to the rest. That's Class A on the gambling.
You signed the
I'm
bottom
the
paper
Emmanuel
that
Class A of
you're at.
ESPN West Palm.
Are they going to say something about
Is
me?
it ignorant dumb? Is it arrogant dumb? Nobody knows.
I think that's the distinction. I keep refreshing because I can't wait to see what trades are going to happen. But it doesn't sound like very much.
It's been quiet, number one. Number two, that leads to my final point here before we let you go. The trade deadline in the MLB is so overrated, in my opinion. I think it's just, oh, wow, the Dodgers, who signed 7 arms in the offseason, are somehow depleted of arms by the time we get to the middle part of the year. The Yankees, who have signed 7 position hitters, are somehow devoid of position hitters and relievers coming into the offseason once again, or the middle of the season. I think it's the same thing every year. And then all of a sudden, I'm an A's fan. The A's, the Marlins, the Pirates, these teams are just getting stripped. They're at the butcher shop, and then all the fat's getting cut off and sent off to them. It's like the minor league system for the major leagues.
Yeah.
And the top 6 are the majors, and the top bottom 24 are the minors.
Couple of things. One, I don't think you see the same level of blockbusters anymore because since the advent of the wild card, more teams are in it, and they can't say to their fans,
I think
even though we don't really think we're in it, I can't tell you when we're 2.5 games out of the wild card, sitting at still in the end of July, that we're bailing on the season,
right?
Because of all of that. Fandom is now up for grabs on an everyday basis. It isn't just like, I'm a fan, I support the team. There are too many other options. So if you bail on your season, even if you don't necessarily think we can get there, those guys, those GMs standing up, in front of the firing squad and saying, we thought this was the best move for us when we're 3 games out of the wild card, are going to get killed, by everybody, by the local media, by fans. It has taken out the blockbuster element of it because there's the risk, the public relations risk of it is just now too great because there's too many teams that can be in the mix.
There's Red Sox fans out there
and anyone can get hot,
who still don't forgive the Red Sox front office for getting rid of Mookie Betts.
Yep.
And there's an example right there. There are teams, Soto getting traded. It didn't work out for both sides every time. So because of that, I would agree with you in the sense that there's too much opportunity for it to be just a colossal failure, and there's too much of it. These big teams capitalize on these players.
Yeah.
Steve, if you were gambling, if you're placing on the over, if you're having some fun just watching the games, you're probably going to Duffy's to watch the games, right?
Oh, definitely, Colin. I'm really glad you mentioned Duffy's because did you know it was once again voted the best sports grill with their award-winning burgers and wings, weekday lunch deals, and the double play starting at just $7.99. Famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. What day's today?
Today's Wednesday.
All right, we'll give. I know people don't plan ahead, but if you were tomorrow, Thursday, rib fix days after 5. Enjoy a half rack of mouth-watering ribs, $12.99. Sign up free to get your Duffy's MVP card and start earning your awards. 80 TVs at each location. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com.
Steve, when's the next time we'll see you in office? A couple days before Thanksgiving?
Let's see. When you and I are both in the office, I don't know, next week maybe.
Maybe
next
next
great
week.
Vibes here. Are you such a great team here?
Are you bouncing around here, or are you going to be in West Palm for the next couple?
A lot bouncing around. Right. You guys don't want me around, so you put me on an airplane.
Next stand-up night, will you do a set for us?
Have you ever done anything like that?
I have. I had aspired to be a comedian at one point in my life.
Wow.
And I had material. And I did a set once in New York at one of those places where it was like a late afternoon comedy club where it was just comedians working on their stuff.
Okay, so you walked into it's a workshop essentially.
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
Tough to tell because everyone was just so thinking about their own stuff.
Okay, you got to go to a comedy. Do you still have the set list?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that material dated now, or we were talking about VHSs?
It's dated, and like you said, like it might not have been totally appropriate.
Okay.
I think you got to be careful.
How old were you when you did it?
22.
Wow.
Woo.
So Steve was around my age, and you were testing out Comedy Sellers, trying to see if you're the next big thing, the next Jerry Seinfeld, huh?
Yes.
Talking about the Korean War, right? Like
what? What year was that?
Okay, I don't know. Just checking.
People
wow.
When I was young, people were old who were in the Korean War.
Wow, Steve, I'm fascinated.
I'm old now.
So you only gave it one rip.
Yeah.
You didn't fall in love with it.
I loved it. I just didn't have the guts to spend any time on it.
Wow. Instead, Steve decided to
it's hard now,
join
too.
up with the great Good Karma brands
and
build what we
see. It's
see
so
today.
hard now, too. Like, so much was made about the ESPYs and this, and the set. Like, first of all, everything that was said at the ESPYs was approved by lawyers 18 times, over.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard because you're never going to make anybody happy.
Yeah, there's so many guardrails.
Like, who are you going for? Are you going?
Gillis did that not for the people in the audience. He did that for the people watching.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
And the Disney lawyers that approved every joke that he told were thinking the same thing.
Oh, Steve, did you see this set before it went live?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I wasn't.
Okay. I thought you were in that room for a second.
No.
Steve's the one approving the jokes.
Yeah. No.
He wrote some of them, actually.
Yes, actually, my material that I told him he
exactly.
The 2025 Boca Raton Bowl. Steve went to his first one last year, the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah,
he's got its 12th year. Tuesday, December 23rd at 2 p.m. at FAU Stadium. The game is back, and the game's going to air on ESPN. It's going to have two of the biggest and best teams from the group of five. They're going to battle it out for their chance at the title. Find more information today at BocaRatonBowl.com. Follow along on Twitter at Boca Bowl and on Facebook.com/Boca Bowl for more information today. The 2025 Boca Raton Bowl. Mark your calendars, set your reminders. Tuesday, December 23rd at FAU Stadium. Steve, we appreciate it as always. Looking forward to talking again soon.
Thanks, guys.
That is the Steve Politziner, one and only, the Good Karma Brands president, Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. We got Christian Cat, Colin Russo. We'll do a little 5 and 5 as we continue onward here with Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
You want NFL credibility? You got it. Rich Eisen joins the lineup on ESPN 106.3 beginning September 2nd. Catch him weekdays at noon. Breaking news, breaking stories, and breaking the internet. This is huge.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs. Time to start getting your ride ready for summer. Stop by the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs and try out one of our best wash packages, the Ultimate Plus. It gives you everything your car needs, inside and out, including our ceramic graphene coating. Or try one of our unlimited monthly plans, starting as low as $34.95 a month, or with inside and out plus tire shine starting as low as $49.95 a month. Visit any one of our 6 convenient locations or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
The pink smoke is taking over South Florida. Listen to Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba and Inter Miami in their pursuit of an MLS Cup all season long right here on ESPN 106.3.
Messi, left foot, in on Guzan, tips it up and over, it's a goal! Lionel Messi is on the board!
Listen to it all on the Deportes Radio FC app, brought to you by PNC Bank, Audi, and Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fraunrath.
Elevate your drive with the new 2026 Range Rover Velar P250S, where sleek design meets powerful performance. Lease it today for just $749 a month for 36 months, with $6,995 due at signing. This is your chance to command the road in signature Range Rover style. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and make sophistication yours. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to gnc.com.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
The weather is heating up and summer is here. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSisyes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Oh, look at the bucket, lays it up and
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Well, we mentioned Steve Pollett Sr., the Good Karma Brands president, doing a little stand-up comedy a little earlier in his life. And we also mentioned Christian Catt doing a stand-up comedy set over at Bob Carter's Actors Rep on Monday. Did a great job there. And Bob Carter's Actors Rep for more than 40 years. Actors Rep has been in the creative home for bold storytelling, transformative arts education, and local talent in West Palm Beach. They're trying to keep their stage alive, trying to keep their dream alive, and they're raising money up to $40,000, trying to keep this all going. You can go to GoFundMe.com/SaveActorsRep and help them keep their curtains and keep their dream moving. That's Bob Carter's Actors Rep. Appreciate them helping us out earlier in the week. That's Christian Catt, Colin Russo. It's Russo and Rizzo. If you missed any of the show today, you want to listen back, go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. You can also catch us live, see our pretty faces on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Christian Cat, our producer today. Christian, is everything okay today? How are you?
Everything is okay today. Just like, the rigmarole that you had to go through to buy a car these days. It's just difficult, man.
You bought a car.
I bought a car.
You bought a new car.
Not for me, for my girlfriend. And it's just taxing, man. The process of looking at different cars at different places, trying to get to that bottom line. And then I give...
you didn't have a car in mind, you had a price in mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
I had a make. I had a semi, size in mind. But...
Because I'm a big believer, if you don't get a crappy car just because of the price point, because you're going to be spending more money than you actually spent on the entire car itself if it's a bad make and a bad brand.
Yeah, I prioritized low mileage, and I prioritized the certain makes that I had I was partial to due to their reliability and lifespan. So
that's worth the extra money in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure. And we're taking this car on a cross-country road trip Saturday. And this is why time is of the essence, because I'm moving a girlfriend up to Chicago.
So you bought the car for a road trip?
She's driving.
She's going to need a car in Chicago. So you bought the car down here because we're going to need to make this drive anyway.
Yes.
So let's buy the car, then drive it up to Chicago, and then leave the car in Chicago, and you're flying back?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So time has been of the essence the past couple of weeks, and we finally locked in the deal for the price that we wanted, for the make that we wanted. But nothing's ever easy, man, because I gave the two worst words, buy in cash. Didn't want to finance. Car dealerships are not a fan of that anymore.
They are not a fan of that. They want to set up the 15.9% APR, and the financee option and get you paying off the car for, the next 38 years.
But we made it happen. A couple of trips to the bank, a couple of trips back and forth. Yeah, we got it done today. So I want to pay
in the rear end. All right. So is the car in the driveway, or are you picking it up later?
The car is currently in the driveway. We got it.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're going to what? Florida to Chicago on Saturday. And
or Florida to Nashville on Saturday, Nashville to Chicago on Sunday.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
No. First time in both of these cities.
Nice city. Worth walking around Broadway, maybe getting a beer somewhere.
That's why we're leaving at 4 a.m. on Saturday, because I don't want it to just be a hotel trip. I wanted to actually see the city. I did the same thing when I moved from Memphis to when I moved from Oklahoma to here. We stopped at Memphis. So I wanted to see that for the first time.
And were you pleased with Memphis?
Listen, I saw
it's not on my list.
I saw the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, worth the stop.
Okay.
We were at rope drop at that Bass Pro Shop.
Wow. Okay. So Nashville, though. All right. So you leave at 6 a.m. on Saturday. What is that? A 12-hour drive?
Yeah. About.
All right. So you're going to get there around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Let's assume 5 o'clock. All right. So you got time for dinner and you time to go out a little bit, enjoy yourselves. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go from Nashville to Chicago. And I've actually made that drive 6 hours, maybe 5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
I've actually made that drive. All right. So not that bad. All right. You'll enjoy that. And how long are you spending in Chicago?
I'll be there all next week. So I'll be working remotely for a couple of days, off a couple of days.
Nice. Which days are you taking off?
I'll be off Monday, Thursday, Friday. And then I'm flying back for ESPN Top 63 at Kaiser.
First thing Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How about that? That's a pack next week. Chicago. Have you been to Chicago in the summer?
No, I haven't been to Chicago at all.
Best city in the world in the summer. You'll notice. You'll know. Go for a walk on Lakeshore Drive and tell me I'm wrong.
I had a bad experience. We had the last dinner that my girlfriend's family lives around here. So we were having a nice dinner to say goodbye and all that last night. And
You're leaving on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is early. All right, go ahead. I mean, it's 5 days early.
Got busy, man. It's a big cross-country move. We got things to do.
Okay.
Golf to play.
Okay, right. Yes.
And we tried to find some Chicago-style pizza, and we found a chain. It didn't go well.
Around here?
Around here.
Why? How about you wait for Chicago? I don't understand.
It was a little sentimental.
Go to Lou Malnati's in Chicago. That's where you get the deep dish. It's called Lou Malnati's. It's a chain, and you can't go 2 blocks without finding one. And then you could go get one there.
This place was in, you saw that one of the locations was in the area, and you look up the location, and you put the order in online, and the GPS brings you to a hotel lobby that has a sign that says, this pizza location pickup is right here, so don't go anywhere. It was in a little coffee shop at the hotel lobby.
And you still went. You still went through with it.
Well, I ordered it ahead of time.
Oh.
So this is a $32 pizza pie.
Wow.
What am I going to do?
This is a self-inflicted wound, in my opinion. This is you're going to be in Chicago in 4 days, in 72 hours, and you're ordering a Chicago deep dish style pizza in West Palm Beach.
It was for her parents. We're trying to do something special.
Right.
Trying to celebrate the occasion, try to loop them in on.
What, you give them all food poisoning to celebrate?
They didn't finish the pie. It was one large pizza for 4 people, and there was pizza left in that box.
I'm not a big deep dish guy. It's a little bit it's more of a pie than a pizza because it's just so I don't know how.
Casserole, right?
I don't know. It's like a lasagna, essentially. I don't know what yours would look like, but it was essentially something like that. So I'm not a huge deep dish guy, but I see the vision. I don't swear by it like the Chicago people do.
I see those viral videos on Instagram and stuff where they glorify the cheese pull, where you cut the pizza and then you see the cheese stick to the pie while you raise it high to the sky.
Anything for me. Doesn't do anything for me.
It visually does. It gets the desired result where I do crave that type of pizza. And I'm a New York guy, and I haven't been to Chicago before. The only Chicago pizza I've ever had before was last night's chain spot in West Palm Beach.
Not a good start.
And the other one was in Vegas when I was there for Big 12 Media Day. And they gave a personal where it was the size of a moon pie, but it was another one of it was an actual Chicago chain, but they have a shop in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure that's much better than what you had last night.
It wasn't very good, and I ate it at a casino slot machine because I know where to sit. And it was not my finest moment. That was my food choice, and this was comped by the people that sent me to the Orange Bowl. And
I think it's called Lou Malnati's. That's where you got to go and sit down, get one fresh, and have some fun with that. Get a Chicago-style hot dog, too. Get an Italian beef, something fun like that.
Yeah, I'm going to do some food tourism there for a full week.
Great food in Chicago. I think you'll like it. It's the best. It's in weather. People are going to be outdoors. They got the water right there. Go check out Lake Michigan. It's great.
Yeah, I'm going to rely on the Bear for a couple things. So they have an actual place where that place is based on. Yeah,
I've been.
It's Mr. Beef.
It's called Mr. Beef. It's Italian beef.
Is it Mr. Beef?
Yes.
I think it's the beef or Chicago beef. You might be thinking of Mr. Beast.
No, it might. I think it's Mr. Beef, but it might be Chicago beef. But I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Beef. Anyway, it's worth going to. I've been there, and you get a good Chicago style there, and it's very good. So I think it's worth it. Get an Italian beef. Have some fun.
Okay. Any food recommendations for Nashville or the path from Nashville to Chicago?
Nashville is an expensive city. It's a 2-day city. You'll be ready to leave after one night. You'll be ready to leave.
Jason Aldean's ball, all it's crack up to be.
Yeah, they got all these. They got all the same things. They're all the same.
But I haven't been there before.
Great live music. I don't know if you're a live music guy. You're going to enjoy the live music.
You can do it for a night.
Yeah. It's great rooftops. It's going to be jam-packed if it's a Saturday night. So just be prepared for that. And, gosh, I won't be able to remember the names. But Jason Aldean's is a famous one. Morgan Wallen, I believe, has a bar over there. And some of them are connected at the rooftop. Go to a rooftop somewhere and enjoy yourself. That's what I would do.
Okay.
So have some fun with that. And then get ready to leave the next night. There's a food hall. That's what it is. There's a food hall. I will get the name for you on the flip side. But it's a main food hall there. It's worth going to. I got some great barbecue there. All right. So there's 100 spots. One of those
Assembly Food Hall.
That's it. Assembly Food Hall in Nashville, Tennessee. Worth going to. Touristy as hell. Totally worth it. And it's worth the walk over to Nissan Stadium to check out where the Titans play as well.
Oh, okay. Really?
It's right there. You can make that walk in 5-10 minutes.
It is Mr. Beef, by the way. That is the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth walking to the Titans Stadium at 10 o'clock at night, but I think it's maybe drive by it and say hello.
Another dynamic of this is we've got these 2 dogs, and these are not Chihuahuas. These are not pugs. These are 60-pound dogs.
You can't leave the dogs with the parents or something like that?
Well, they're moving with the girlfriend.
Oh, the parents are coming with?
No.
Oh, the parents are moving to Chicago?
No.
They're moving somewhere else.
The parents are staying here. The girlfriend's going to Chicago.
Right, but you can leave the dog.
The dogs are going with the girlfriend.
You're leaving the dogs in Chicago. Wow, you're going back empty-handed, truly.
Makes it a lot easier to get a new apartment in August.
I didn't know. I was so confused. I thought you said the parents were moving. I'm like, oh, where are they going? Okay, so the dogs are coming.
So we got to drop off the dogs at the hotel and hopefully not get fined or charged by the hotel when we leave our dogs at the hotel so we can enjoy Nashville. We're not bringing the dogs out to Nashville.
You didn't check the hotel and make sure they're dog friendly?
We haven't booked the hotel yet.
Wow. You're in some trouble here.
Listen, the first bullet to check off or whatever, the box to check off was the car. We got it done today.
Book the hotel tonight and make sure it's family. It's pet friendly. Yeah. Jeez.
I booked the flight back to Fort Lauderdale about 30 minutes ago. I got the confirmation email that my girlfriend booked. So we're slowly checking things off the list.
All right. Good for you. You figured it out. All right, now get the hotel organized and don't leave this, spanking nice hotel that is not pet friendly. Don't leave them 2 60-pound dogs and say, hey, please watch our animals. Make sure it's a pet friendly
like a John Wick setup. Remember how John Wick left his dog with the concierge?
Doesn't work like that.
No? They want to take care of him?
I don't know. I never brought a dog to a hotel, but we'll see. We'll learn from your experience. On the flip side, we'll hear from Christian Cat and do a little 5 at 5. But first, don't eat Chicago-style pizza in West Palm Beach. Instead, focus on your nutrition, especially if you're a fitness-minded individual. Go to Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace because it's a place that's built for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who like to train hard. They understand the benefits of clean supplementation and nutrition. Whether you're prepping for a triathlon, grinding at the gym, or just trying to be a little bit more health conscious, Vitacost is your go-to for leveling up your game. Their new Sports Certified Marketplace, they got over 400 performance-enhancing supplements, all certified free of banned substances that help you level up your game. Thinking about me, I'm training for a triathlon right now, so I need my protein. I need my electrolytes more than anything, believe it or not. I need my fish oil supplements. I need my creatine. And without Vitacost, I would be, out of luck. Visit Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make that purchase today. Once again, that's Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make that purchase now. Use code ESPN20 for 20% off. Yes, who doesn't love a deal? I love my deal. And just go to ESPN20 for that 20% off on Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace. Level up your game today, Vitacost. We get the 5 at 5. On the flip side, stick around for Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is America's busiest ballpark with Florida State League baseball games 6 days a week, Tuesday through Sunday, including the 2-for-1 Tuesday ticket deal, Silver Slugger Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Friday Family 4-pack, Kids Club Saturdays, and $10 tickets every Sunday. Enjoy all the fun promotions while seeing the future stars of baseball take the field. For tickets, schedules, promotions, and more information, stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies. Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. There's no doubt that the quarterback position is the most lucrative position in the National Football League. But edge rushers are starting to make their claim. TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers just recently signed a new contract, giving him $41 million per year. TJ Watt making $41 million. Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns making $40 million. Daniel Hunter, $35. Max Crosby, $35. These are 4 out of the 5 most lucrative contracts that aren't the quarterback position. So if you're not playing quarterback, be the one trying to sack them. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
What if every use of your debit card turns spare change into something meaningful, like growing your savings and supporting local community causes? With Flagler Credit Union's Impact Checking with Everyday Change, your spare change can have big impact. Each transaction can be rounded up to grow your savings and support nonprofits that provide meals, shelter, and essential services locally. Make an impact in your life and in your community. Open your Impact Checking account today. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, we saw a little bit of greatness from Christian Cat on the stand-up comedy stage earlier in the week. We saw some greatness from Steve Policino, who joined the program about 45 minutes ago on Russo and Rizzo. It's Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We're live from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Speaking of greatness, we're going to be honoring the greatness of all these great high school athletes for our Top 63 annual event, which is coming up next Saturday, over at with our friends at Kaiser University. And talk about greatness. Nobody kind of eludes greatness more than Kaiser University, huh?
I mean, yeah, the hardware speaks for itself. 26 national championships. And if you're like me, maybe your college days are behind you, you can still get in on what Kaiser has to offer because it doesn't stop in the classroom. It doesn't just stop on the field, on the football field, tennis courts, lacrosse field. Like, they're still winning national championships there. But you can become a champion on the golf course, courtesy of the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. I'm in the middle of my lessons with Coach Pete over at the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. And I told you I got my first lesson last Thursday. I've played 2 rounds since then. It's been busy. Told you I'm in the middle of a grand road trip we're planning for Saturday. So I'm not on the course as much as I would like to be, but I'm already seeing grave improvements. Dude, my short game is unreal. I used to be so void of confidence when I had my lob wedge in my hand. I got around the greens. Now I can't wait to get that club in my hands. I've got the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the way up to 50-yard shots mastered, all thanks to the coaching and the tools, utilities at the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. And we live in South Florida. It is currently the summer, so the weather is almost never good for all 24 hours. That's why they have a 2,000 square foot indoor training area, complete with the 3 hitting bays, the private classroom, and the cutting edge video and ball flight analysis to help me train like a tour pro. So I thought that my problems off the tee were all slicing because I was coming over the top. Turns out I was hitting the heel of my driver every single time. Every single time. That's why that ball was missing right every single time. And I diagnosed that problem because of the video technology at the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. It's right in the center of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. You can find out more information at kaisergolfcenter.com. I've got my next lesson tomorrow, bright and early, 9:30 a.m. I cannot wait to see what lesson number 2 has in store for me.
Road trip or not, the journey to getting better at golf does not stop for Christian Cat and Kaiser University. Let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High 5.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking Big Ten.
It's time for The 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Well, we started the week with Madden ratings. They released Club 99, of course, the players that have a highest possible rating in Madden, which was 99, and the outrage there was no Mahomes in the 99 club. There was Josh Allen, and of course, there was Lamar Jackson, but no Pat Mahomes. Now we look at Madden NFL 26 rookie ratings released today, and some people are scratching their heads. Let's look at the notable players in this year's draft. Travis Hunter, rated 84. Ashton Genty, rated 81. Cam Ward, rated 71. He's just below Giants running back Cam Scatterbo, who's rated 73. Does any of those 4 ratings shock, surprise, anger you, Colin?
Well, there's no doubt to anybody's mind that Cam Ward probably wouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick at quarterback had it been other quarterback classes. Nobody's denying that. And I think I think there's a classic example of, instead of being compared to his fellow rookies, he's being compared to his fellow quarterbacks. And if there's an 81 overall quarterback sitting around there, Caleb Williams, 82, I don't know what they are, but I'm just taking a wild guess. And what are they going to throw? They're not going to throw Cam Ward the same overall rating as somebody who hasn't played a snap in the NFL. I think he's being compared to the fellow quarterbacks, but Cam Scatterbo, I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. That just seems to be the game trying to get people into a random player that they could just kind of run home with, like Cam Scatterbo. But with Ward, you can't compare him to the fellow rookies. I think he is in the crop of the fellow quarterbacks. And as for everybody else, Genty and Hunter, I don't think anybody would argue that they were probably the 2 best players in the draft, considering they were the 2 Heisman finalists. So from that perspective, and considering the third one is a 72, but out of those 2, those guys are the 2 best players in college football. So from that, I'm okay with that. Cam Ward, it's a little confusing, but he's compared to his quarterbacks, not the fellow rookies.
He is the lowest rated in Madden, number 1 overall pick from the previous draft in 24 years.
How does Trayvon Walker not win that? And I'm a Jags fan, so I understand it. That was a shocker of a first overall pick. Tell me, Eric Fisher, the tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, had a higher overall than that when he started out? I don't know. That's a little stupid. I agree with you there. That 24 years, I didn't realize it was that bad. Make him a 75 and walk home. Come on.
Number 2.
Let's go to baseball. Yes, the trade deadline. Every single minute we get closer until these rosters are pretty much finalized. Well, did you hear about this report? The rumor mill is churning because the Houston Astros are apparently, according to MLB.com's Brian McTaggart, interested in reuniting with Carlos Correa of the Minnesota Twins. While the clubs have discussed a Correa trade, their sides apparently remain far apart and no deal is imminent. Sources continue to tell ESPN's Jeff Passan. Would you want to see Carlos Correa go back to Houston?
I don't want to see anything involved Carlos Correa for the foreseeable future. I don't want to see him in a big playoff game, in a big playoff spot with that godforsaken team. So, no, I do not want to see Carlos Correa back with the Houston Astros, because I think anything involving the Houston Astros in a big postseason spot, and you got Carlos Correa and Altuve and a lot of we're so used to, the less of that, the better for me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay without that. But it sounds like if there's a place to go back, he's going to go there.
Number 3.
Hot off the presses, hot off into your grocery store aisles, because Oreo and Reese's have announced a collaboration featuring 2 new products. The first of which is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, where the bottom half is chocolate, the top half is Oreo cream flavor, and the middle has the peanut butter, and it has Oreo crumble like you would get like a cookies and cream topping. And the other collaboration product is a Oreo, where the middle is simply Reese's peanut butter. Which of those 2 products are you more interested in?
See, here's the thing. I'm not a peanut butter guy.
Oh, these are both off the
both off the list. I didn't grow up in a peanut butter household. I don't have a peanut butter allergy, just not my thing. What's your perspective there? Do you really look at that and think that it's not the exact same thing in terms of the sheer amount of peanut butter? That's such a dominating flavor.
I don't think so. I think Reese's is popular for a reason because chocolate and peanut butter, who would have thunk that was a good combination? Because you would think both are too overpowering to get their licks in, but no, they both shine in those cups.
Whenever there's something peanut butter, I just think it's such a dominating, overpowering flavor. Maybe I'm fine with eating peanut butter. I just, if it's on the shelf at the grocery store, I'm not going out of my way to get it. So I can't say either of those two really interest me. Just off of the idea that I didn't grow up with it. I think it's more of an acquired taste. I think it's a coffee in that regard.
So did anyone in your family or friend circle know an allergic at all?
No, just didn't grow up in a peanut butter household. I think it probably starts with the parents. They're not a peanut butter couple. And then the kids, by and large, did not follow. They followed along in those footsteps. I don't know. Just didn't grow up around it.
Wow. You feel like when you eventually have kids.
I don't feel like I missed out. And it's not. Well, Colin Russo's household is not going to be a peanut butter house. I don't care who I marry. Colin Russo's household is not going to be peanut butter.
Number 4.
Maybe this also will or won't happen in Colin Russo's household. Did you hear this news? Gilbert Arenas, 3-time All-Star. He's currently in the media biz when it comes to sports talk, specifically NBA talk. He was arrested today in connection with federal indictment that alleges that Arenas hosted illegal high-stakes poker games at his mansion in Encino, California. And when I saw this, I kind of thought, this is kind of the coolest thing to get arrested for that is can really put you behind bars. Is there something you can think that is illegal that is still kind of cool?
I think when the guys climb buildings that are being constructed upon and there are major trespassing charges and that, I think that's pretty cool as long as they don't fall. I think that's always cool when the guys walk down from an illustrious climb or something daredevilish and they get arrested because of it, but they accomplish something. That's interesting. Like that story, I'm pretty sure it's a true story, of that guy who wired across the Twin Towers in New York City. And you get arrested for that. That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, they have the people that jump off of the tall buildings with parachutes.
Base jumping. That's cool. That you create a cult fan base when you do something like that. That would compete. But I think you're right. Being a great illegal gambler would be fun as well.
Or like a legal gambler or hosting gambling.
Yeah.
Like you're just putting out the chips and salsa and providing the bottle service for the high ballers that come into your mansion.
It's Molly's game. That's what he organizing those games and thousands and millions of dollars coming through weekly.
She's the protagonist in that movie for a reason.
It's her game. I do think there's something cool about that. But there's something about those daredevils that break the law in favor of just doing something absolutely psychotic.
Risking their life. Victimless crime, except for thyself and thy family.
Something entertaining about that. It's called the gladiator mentality. There's something entertaining there.
Number 5.
Let's go back to football because apparently some quarterbacks don't want to play during the preseason. Well, right down the road at Hard Rock Stadium, we've got a quarterback that does want to play in the preseason. Tua Tagovailoa spoke with ESPN's Marcel Louis Jacques, and he said, I definitely love to get some preseason snaps in. No doubt. It's a new season. It's a new year, as Tua continued. Got to get things tuned in with the guys again, all of that. I don't think I'm better than anyone on this team or think I'm too cool to get reps in during preseason games. So amid his head injuries, amid the concussions that Tua has suffered that have threatened his career, Tua says, you know what? Get those pads on. Put me in, coach. Is this a problem that Tua wants to play in the preseason, or is this kind of, you know what? That's our quarterback. That's our guy. I'm going to follow him into war.
Yeah, Tua would never say something like this. He never should either. But it's not about him being too cool for school. Oh, he's the quarterback. He doesn't need to. It's about everybody. Every time he steps out in the field for the next 2 years, as long as if he stays healthy, that'll change. But everybody's going to hold their breath just off his health alone. That is why, he's going to walk out there and nobody's going to be thinking about, is he going to play poorly? Should he be out there? It's all about his health. It's not about a knee injury. It's not about an ankle injury, but his head. And every time he gets hit, you're going to hold your breath. And until you sort of get over that, I think that's going to be the stigma that follows him. So from that perspective, I would say that this is not a too cool for school situation. This is that every time you step out in the field it's a risk that if you get another concussion, this might be the last time we see you play football. That makes me, that's how I view it. I don't know if Dolphin fans view differently in terms of when they watch Tua play, but whether he's healthy or not, every time he exits the pocket, you hold your breath. That's the reputation he's sort of built for himself. And when you play the preseason, I don't think that's anything different. They might play a little easier on quarterbacks, but these guys, these third stringers who are trying to get sacks and trying to get tackles for loss and are trying to make a name for themselves and make a 53-man roster, they're going to hit you. They're going to hit, at least I would think. They're going to hit you. I don't know how bad it would be, but I hold my breath every time he gets out there.
Like, why does a Los Angeles Rams defensive lineman who's trying to make the team, he's not going to take it easy on you?
It's not training camp. It's not that. This is a tryout for 50 players, 55. I hold my breath every time Tua's going to get out there, and until he gives me a reason not to hold my breath.
But can he do that? Is it will take like 3 years of not missing a game?
If he plays 17 safely, I think people would start to alleviate that. But I think all season people are going to be thinking about it. I really do.
You know how they talk about a vice president as a quote-unquote heartbeat away from being president?
Right.
You think that quarterback room is looking at Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson saying, hey, listen, you're not clipboard guys. Like, you got to know this playbook. Yes. As if you are Tua, as if you're expecting to start every week.
It's not like being Eli's backup. This is not that. This is not being Big Ben's backup. This is you be ready because you could be ready. We might play in the second quarter. So there's something to that. I agree with you that you don't have somebody who's going to die out in that field. You have somebody who's very likely that he's going to get hurt out there. You got to be very careful. So you're right. There's something like that.
Do you like Tua in this kind of pun not intended, but he's pretty hard-headed and stubborn with risking his health on the football field, even if it might be against the team's best interest and it's more of him as a competitor? I think I like Tua a lot.
I respect his perspective on it because if you're going to go after it, you got to go hard. You got to go smart, but you can't shortcome it. You can't give people reason to believe that you're playing it safe.
Yeah, people on these airways are forcing him into retirement.
Yeah. That
feels a little bit out of bounds and not my job to tell you what you should do with your health and your career.
But everybody is worried about his health. That's the bottom line. It's out of a worry. It's not out of trying to tell him what to do. There's no doubt anybody who's played football before who knows anybody who's gotten 3-4 concussions, they're done with football. They're done with football. And why is a professional football exempt from that when these concussions are definitely far worse once you get to that 3, 4, 5 range? That's what I would be getting nervous about. 5-5, Christian Cat, Colin Russo. We close out a little bit on the flip side. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Your office, West Palm Beach.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, you get the trade deadline. Basically, we're at the front steps of the trade deadline in the Major League Baseball, and because of that, you can get started on the Hard Rock Bet app today and start capitalizing on some of these futures that are going to change once these big-name sluggers and or arms get added to these high-level teams. Are these odds going to change? Well, you can get started and capitalize on this on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go download today in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today. Hard Rock's the best. Caters to both types of players. The navigation is easy. If you're a brand new player, if you're an experienced player, you sort of get something out of the app either way. You can put together a parlay. Check out the Discover page and tag along on other parlays that are put together. You can do NFL futures. You can do college football futures. We had all the media days for ACC, SEC, Big Ten. We got college football that's basically around the corner. The NFL Hall of Fame game is next week. It's all right here. It's all right in front of us. And August starts in about 48 hours. And because of that, you might as well go have some fun. And best part is, deposit $5, get $150 in bonus bets. That's what Hard Rock Bet offers today. Once again, that's $150 in bonus bets with just a deposit of $5. Go get started now. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Christian is going to Chicago. First long road trip in your life?
No, I moved.
You did Oklahoma.
I did the Oklahoma one. I moved from New York to Florida during COVID. So that was pretty sick because you're going from shutdown, lockdown, early June to you cross into Georgia. And I was having a meal. Like, restaurants weren't closed.
And people didn't care.
People didn't care. Oh, it was so nice to move from New York to Florida early June 2020. It was fantastic. So
I was in college around that time, and that was risky as well because I went to a school in the north and all the schools in the south. It was a different world. It was a different world. Like when my brother was in college, he was at Tampa, and Tampa, they didn't care. And then I was at Wisconsin where, again, you're right, masks, aprons, hazmat suits every time you walk outside.
Dude, I dropped like $120 on a meal just for myself at a random restaurant in Georgia along I-95 because I was cooped up for a couple of months and I was waiting to finally enjoy the pleasantries of dining. Not fine dining, just dining in general because I don't cook at home. I don't. I get takeout and I get restaurant food. So this was a very liberating experience for me. So I'm well-versed in the road trip life. I know the gas stations I want to go to. I don't like to stop unless I need to get gas or I don't do the stop for the bathroom. You do gas and bathroom at the same time.
Right.
So the sticking point between me and my girlfriend because some people have smaller bladders than other people.
And some people need to go stop at every rest stop there is just to stretch their legs too.
Just the worst. You see all the cars that you passed on the way there. That? She's not bad. She's adjusted to my, 8.5 years is a long time.
Right. Year 2
and she
is
didn't
a lot different than year 8. Year 8, she knows the drill.
Yes. And I'm always the one driving. So at the end of the day.
You're going to drive the whole way.
I'll probably nap for 4 hours. We'll see.
Morning after Nashville.
It is her new car, so I don't want to completely rob her.
No, yeah, you want to give it a rip. You got to on open roads too before you get into city driving.
Yeah.
100%. That's Christian Cat. Big thanks to him keeping us up over the airwaves. Tonight we got Inter Miami tonight, so stay tuned for that on ESPN 106.3. That was Christian Cat. Colin Russo will be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN 106.3. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Once again, if you missed it, go listen on podcasts at ESPN West Palm, at Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Colin Russo here saying so long. We'll see you next time right here on ESPN 106.3.
The weather is heating up and summer is here. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports.